the SymphonyEars Prestige. Let's talk about it. Now, this is a 5-driver IEM. It has a super tweeter, a Knowles for treble, a Sonian for mid-range, a bone conductor driver, and a biofiber dynamic driver for bass. So it is kind of a 5 different IEM hybrid, which is pretty unusual, which makes this, an interesting IEM using branded drivers. What also makes this IEM interesting is that it is from an American company, an American hobbyist who has already, I believe this is his 3rd IEM. His name is Isaiah. He's on my Discord. He's on a lot of Facebook groups. So let's start by looking at the build quality of this gorgeous IEM. This is a resin shelled IEM that is not filled in. I don't know if that is a function of this being a, like a kind of a semi-custom homemade done IEM, or just the driver itself needs that to actually work for the bone conductor driver. It has a nice lip. It has a great faceplate. It feels nice in hand. It has a little lip here. It is vented. It is flat 2-pin cable connector. It's all around a really solid IEM shell with a metal nozzle. You don't get a metal nozzle on every single thing, so that's to me a bonus. Again, it is hollow, but it feels durable enough, but no major fault there. So I like the shell. It's also very small and slight and easy to fit. Beautiful clear terminations, red for right, blue for left. I like these terminations. They're kind of gold plated. They look and feel nice. The cable is a little bit tangle prone, but it's soft and it feels premium. The chin slider stays in place. The Y split is also beautiful, and it terminates in a 4.4 only. Nice hack branding. So there you go. A fair selection of tips, but nothing too exciting. The case isn't super exciting. I don't know what the story is behind it, but it's just kind of a regular case, but that's kind of what it comes in. So how does this sound? Really quite neutral and really quite lovely. There's a lot of great things about this IEM. And I feel like it's one of the better done kind of boutique IEMs that I've listened to, and I feel like I've listened to a couple IEMs in my life. So I would have to rate this sound very strong. Great bass, great mids. There's a few issues though, and like the issue is that I personally don't like bone conductor drivers, and normally I don't rate them very highly, and this one is kind of interesting in that regards, that there is kind of a sense of treble. It's almost like if you take your voice and kind of like take your throat and kind of shake it like this. It's almost like there's that vibration of types that kind of comes across a little bit weird to my ears sometimes, and it doesn't have that sweet, great treble that I kind of go after. So that's kind of its fault. But the bone conductor driver works. It feels really good. It's very slight in ears. And a lot of bone conductor IEMs, like Theaudio Origin, we'll look at that in the graph section, has a problem with its size. This is an IEM that's about that same price, that you don't have to worry about that extreme size, and it's done from a local brand here in the United States, which is quite impressive. Let's look at some graphs. All right, SymphonyEars Prestige. Let's look at the graph. You'll notice kind of the bone conductor driver right here in that area, but it kind of fits my target really quite well. Has a little bit of a dip here, some energy. I don't like the 7K peak. The treble past here, it's good, but I don't think it's super majestic. I don't know, the way I graphed it might have been a little bit off, but we did the best we could with all things considering. Let's look at a few other IEMs. First one, let's look at the Hexad from that same brand. You'll notice that it doesn't have nearly as much. Let's normalize this at 500. You'll notice that like the Hexad is a little bit more of a neutral IEM, has a lot more of this kind of mid-treble region. The Prestige has done a good job at eliminating that. And so all around, it's a pretty exciting set. I mean, it's just an all-around well done, like well executed IEM, and I'm quite impressed with it. And I do like it, although this 7K peak or whatever that is does feel a little bit off to me. Like the way it sits in my ear, there's like some kind of a hissy treble energy that I can't really define in the Prestige, that I don't absolutely love, and I can't define that whether that's what kind of a driver this is. But What I will say is if the bone conductor driver doesn't bother you, if the treble on this is good, it's going to be a fantastic set, which is kind of exciting because this is an exciting IEM with great tonality. So that's something to know. We look at a few others. Now, this is kind of the darling of like that good upper treble, the High Senior Mega 5 EST. About the same price. If you've heard the Mega 5 EST and you're like, oh man, that was super boring. Yeah, I get you. I really do. The SymphonyEars Prestige is nothing like that. Yeah, it's a little bit more, but it has a lot of great qualities. And so, like, what we're going to talk about and define, I believe I've done this before on channel, but I want to be really clear about it, just as each review is unique. And that there's like two kinds of IEMs. There's the standard good IEM, and then there's the audiophile tuned IEM that's made for audiophiles. And debatably, all IEMs are made for audiophiles. But the thing about these two, which kind of I brought this up, is just to kind of show that like the Prestige is made for audiophiles. Like if you're an audiophile looking for a great IEM that has a bone conductor driver and branded drivers, I think this could be a real great winner for you, despite its caveats and problems. Another one this reminds me of is the ZE Empire ZE51B. Now, this is a really fun set, but like the problem is if you look at the ZE Empire, we'll normalize this at 800, and what do you notice? Like, yeah, the treble here is fine, but it has a colossal amount of bass. And like, I prefer my bass like cut straight across and kind of a general rise at right 200, maybe even a little later, maybe even a little earlier, but that's kind of a way earlier bass rise, which, on the Z Empire, it really didn't work for me. It felt really boomy and muddy, and like I like bass, I just don't like a ton of mud slung. I mean, occasionally it can be a fun colorization, but again, what we're talking about is sometimes the colorizations, that's really all sound is. And so is that colorization good for you or not good for you? The Z Empire was not good for me, and it's one of those sets that does not get a recommendation at all. Like, if you want to support a small brand, go for it, but it's not for me. The Prestige does get a recommendation, but kind of a hesitant one because the upper treble for me at least didn't work. Other sets to look at the Camper. The Camper has a huge shell. It has a bone conductor driver, has really nice upper mids and treble, but it's also like $3,000. That's kind of the problem with the Camper. It is a fantastic set, but it is super expensive, but you'll notice its graph is very silky. What else? Okay, Empire Ears Triton. We have this is another good set that I like. It has a nice, like if you'll notice the two things here, like I rate the Triton higher, but it's a very expensive set done by a brand that does expensive stuff. Again, for me, this like 7K peak kind of bothered me. And also the dark treble on the Triton bothered me. So like the Prestige has better like mid treble presence region. The Triton has a little bit more linear bass. But like to me, like the Prestige in some ways is kind of like a mini Empire Ears Triton, which is what, like a $2,000 set. The Triton is beautiful, and it's one of those sets that like has a certain appeal to people that have that kind of money. But I think this represents something special at this price for what it is. The only other comparison I really want to do is the Audio Origin. Now these two are about the same price. Again, the Origin, nice set, kind of. I mean, it has like the Origin has this thing where like its micro details isn't as good, but I think it's a little bit better than the Prestige. It also has kind of this elevated air region, which may or may not be for you. It kind of depends on what you wanted to do. I do want to say I did try EQ with the Prestige, and it didn't quite fix that mid treble region. And since this is a loaner tour sent out to me that will eventually be going to Audio Amigo or other reviewers. So this is it's kind of something to note that this is not a purchase. This is just kind of something I'm doing to kind of help promote an IEM and get a little coverage on my channel and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, so it becomes a very competitive IEM in the market. But to me, if you can get the Audio Origin to fit in your ears, it might be the better IEM. But the problem is that the Audio Origin does have an absolutely massive shell. Like If I want to talk about volume wise, I want to say it's like 3 times the size of the Prestige. It's just pretty huge. So that's a huge reason to consider the SymphonyEars Prestige over the TheAudio Origin. All right, the SymphonyEars Prestige, let's rank it up. I think this IEM's a treasure. I think it does a lot of things really, really well. For me, I thought the bass was well done. I thought the bass and dynamics were good. I felt like it was technical where it needed to be, but it did have a few treble spikes where I didn't like, and the treble region that I didn't like. Its mids were well done and classy. It's just an all-around nice set. And like, again, it's one of those sets that like, if that treble works for you, it's gonna be fantastic. It has a great overall tonality, but I just didn't really think it was as incisive and as clean as I wish it were. You know, the higher end market is hyper competitive. You know, I could sit here and be hyperbolic about this IEM and tell you that it's absolutely fantastic and that everybody should buy one, but I don't really think that's very fair to you guys. I don't know if it's the best value for what I like and for what I want, but I do feel it's extremely impressive and extremely fun, and I think if it can work for people, it would be great. So because of that, I'm kind of giving this like a 3-star rating. It's like maybe top 15 for its price. I feel it's a solid, well done product. I feel like there's a lot of compelling reasons to buy this IEM. I find it extremely fun, extremely audiophile, and a nice colorized V that not everybody can hit. This guy's going places. He's doing great work. I'm excited to see what else he does in this hobby. As I believe this is his 3rd IEM that he's tuned, and it seems like every single one from what I've heard and what I've seen is just looking to see me to get better. I like this a lot more than I do the Hexad, and I find this to be competitive and a nice value IEM. Again, this IEM is going to be going off to Audio Amigo and some few other reviewers. If you're interested, join the Discord, talk to me. We'll see what we can do to maybe ship it off to you for a bit. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
And I half expected it to be made of wood. You are without doubt the worst
audiophile
I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of me. Go!
Go!
Go on with you!
You're mid, you're mid, you're mid, you're legendary. You're mid, Jaytis out.